Hi, so today we're going to be studying about fetus in utero. So, what is lie? Lie is the relationship of the long axis of fetus with respect to the either the maternal spine or an erect or centralized uterus. So, lie can be longitudinal lie where the long axis of fetus is in line with the maternal spine. So, this is also another type of longitudinal lie. Okay, this is oblique lie. So the difference, oblique line is lies where it is at an angle. So the difference is here it is close to the internal os, but here it's completely away, like you can see the position of the head. Next we can also have transverse lie where the longitudinal axis for the basically the long axis of fetus is at 90 degrees, it's perpendicular to the maternal spine. Next we have presentation. So presentation is basically the part of the fetus which is occupying the lower pole of the uterus, or basically the part which is entering the pelvic rib. So there can be three types of presentation: cephalic, which is the most common type of presentation, wherein the head of the baby is entering, or we can have next common as podalic, wherein the buttocks, also called as breech presentation. Or next we have shoulder presentation, wherein the shoulders of the baby are there. Or we can also have other presentations which are 0.5%. So other presentations, okay, and when there is more than one part of the fetus is present, then it's called as compound presentation. So this is presentation. What is the presenting part? So the presenting part is defined as the part of presentation which is lying, basically the part. Now in cephalic presentation also, the part of the cephalic thing of the syphilis which is lying over the internal os. Okay, so the that's the presenting part. Next, talking about attitude. So attitude is relationship of parts of the fetus. So how is the fetus in respect to, like, it's like there is usually the most common attitude of fetus is that of flexion. So head, neck, limbs, everything, trunk, everything is in an attitude of flexion, and it basically flexes and forms a ovoid mass that is corresponding to the size and shape of the uterus. Now flexion may be, so the shape, like the attitude, may be kind of determined by the liquor amni, and also there can be exceptions to the attitude, like there can be extension, which can be complete extension, there can be partial flexion, deflexed head. So these are other types of attitudes of the baby. Denominator. Now denominator is, suppose we have cephalic presentation, so we have a case of longitudinal lie, we have cephalic presentation, the presenting part is the vertex in cephalic presentation, let's say, then the attitude is flexed. So here the point, the denominator is a bony prominence which is felt. Okay, so the bony prominence is the occiput in case of vertex presentation. Next, coming to the position. So position is nothing but the relationship of the denominator with the different quadrants of the pelvis. So here there's a beautiful diagram explaining the relationship. So here we're talking about the cephalic presentation. In cephalic presentation, the denominator here is the occiput. So we can see this is the occiput. So occiput we can identify by looking at the posterior fontanelle, which is triangular. So now looking here, when the occiput is anterior, it's called occipito-anterior or direct occipito-anterior position. When it is tilted towards the right occipito-anterior, left occipito-anterior. When it's transverse, then right occipito-transverse, left occipito-transverse. Then it could either be then it can be direct occipito-posterior position, left occipito-posterior, right occipito-posterior position. Now the most common position is left occipito-transverse. Okay, that's the most common position of the fetus. Now next we're going to talk about the cases wherein the height of the uterus is more than period of amenorrhea. So height is more than period of gestation. One most common cause can be that the LMP was not known, like the patient has not told the LMP properly, so that's why we've calculated wrong EDD, and based upon that reading the growth of the uterus is more. Alright, so that's one cause. Or twin pregnancy, multi-fetal pregnancy, obviously it's going to be more than what you expect with a single twin pregnancy. Then we have polyhydramnios, then we have a case of ectopic pregnancy, we have concealed hemorrhage, or we can have tumors or a big baby. Yeah, so that's the thing. Now talking about Leopold's maneuvers. So we have basically 4 maneuvers of Leopold. So these are obstetrical grips. The first grip is where, okay, so our position is the patient is lying down with thighs like slightly flexed, so legs are slightly flexed in position. So we are standing on the right side of the patient and we are facing the face, like we are facing the patient. We are looking at the face of the patient. So now with the help of both the palms, you should try to feel what is present in the upper part of the abdomen. So you can either feel buttocks, which is like uh, okay, yeah, so its buttocks is broad, irregular, and it's soft in consistency. Or if you feel something bony hard, that means it's the head. So based on this, you know what is the presentation there. Then we have Leopold's second grip, also called as lateral grip. So position is the same. One hand, so you keep your both the hands on either side. So like this, on either side of the abdomen, both the hands are kept. With one hand you apply slight pressure, and with the other hand is the palpating hand. So you palpate for the presenting part. So suppose you are able to, suppose you are palpating this part, which is the limbs part. So there you will feel irregular, bony, nodular, like irregular surface basically, which is knob-like. It's kind of soft compared to the other. Okay. Next, if you were palpating this side, you would feel a continuous curved bony structure. So compared to this bony structure, this is obviously going to be slightly softer. So this is how you identify what what part can be seen. So basically there is that, and then yeah, so we try to know the position. Then we have third grip, third Leopold's grip, which is also called as Pollock's grip. So here same position, everything is the same. So you take your right hand, you extend. So you extend the thumb and the other 4 fingers, and your ulnar border is going to lie on the pubic symphysis. So our ulnar border is lying on the pubic symphysis. So here what happens is when we try to move, so this test can only be performed if the head is not engaged, like there is mobility. So when we try to move the head, there is basically mobility the head. Okay, so that indicates that the head is not engaged. Then we have fourth grip. Fourth grip is called as pelvic grip. So here now we are facing towards the feet of the patient. So with the help of both hands, we try to push it downwards, and in case it converges, in case both our fingers converge and meet, that means the head is not engaged. And if the head is divergent, if our fingers are divergent, that means the head is engaged. So now that we've spoken about engagement, what exactly is engagement? So engagement is when the greatest horizontal plane. So what is the greatest horizontal plane? It's the biparietal diameter. So this biparietal diameter has passed the pelvic plane of the pelvic brim, then the head is said to be engaged. So so this is a theoretical definition. How will I diagnose it? So when I do the first pelvic grip, obviously I should not be able to feel the head on top. So sinciput occiput is nothing is felt per abdomen. Okay, I can maybe feel the limbs. Next, when I am doing Leopold's fourth maneuver, that time I can my hands are divergent, so they are not convergent. Okay, so this is on per-abdominal examination. On vaginal examination, what will I feel? So lower pole of the unmolded head. So what is engagement? Another definition of engagement is when it is at the level of ischial spine, that is station 0, or below it, that is positive stations. So anything above that is not engagement, right? So when we do this, we have to find out its relationship with respect to the ischial spines. So it's obviously going to be at the level or below it. So that is the thing, and we can confirm it by sonography. Now in vaginal examination, the distance between the pelvic indent and the ischial spine is about 5 centimeters. Okay. So what is the significance of engagement? So engagement is ruling out cephalopelvic disproportion. Because if the head is able to pass, obviously normal vaginal delivery is possible. So head is the best pelvimeter. So okay, the head is supposed to pass, but at what time will I check? So we will check it at around 34 to 42 weeks. So in a primary gravida between 38 to 42 weeks, there should be engagement of the head. In multigravida, this usually happens at the time of labor. So if head fails to engage, then there are so many different causes like deflexed head, polyhydramnios, hydrocephalus, placenta previa, tumors, high pelvic inclination, functional, etc. Thank you.